Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with another edition of your Southeast Idaho Weather Hazard Briefing, this one for Thursday, September 26, 2019. So quite a bit to talk about, and of course we have that big storm system, that big pattern change we've been talking about for several days now. It's still on the way for Saturday and beyond. Let's open up with the radar loop this morning, though, and another very quiet morning out there. A little bit of ground clutter running around here on the radar, but no precipitation across the southern half of Idaho. You can see a little bit of precipitation coming into the Seattle area early this morning and also perhaps up here at the far northern tip of the panhandle of Idaho. This is all in association with a weak system that's going to come through quickly this afternoon into tonight. Not expected to be a big deal, but it will bring us a little bit of wind and a chance of a few showers, and we'll talk about that in just a moment here. Other than that system, high temperatures today still getting up into the upper 60s to mid 70s across the region. Another absolutely gorgeous late summer, early fall day for Southeast Idaho. It's going to feel really similar to what we saw yesterday, and we're actually going to see quite a bit of sunshine today as well, just like we saw yesterday across the region. That next system, though, again, is going to bring us just a couple impacts here, really light. Let's look at the satellite water vapor loop, and you can actually see the feature that we're talking about showing up here up across western Canada. There's this zone of increased moisture and cloud cover up here indicated by the white and green shading. And this particular system is going to continue to move off to the southeast fairly quickly over the course of the day. It's going to cross the northern Rockies here late this afternoon into tonight. And that's what we're going to be dealing with for just a little bit here across our area. First impact, increased winds this afternoon. So as that system comes through, we're looking for 15 to 25 mile per hour sustained winds across the region. And here's wind gusts shown on this graphic. So we'll see some places gusting to about 35 miles per hour. That's especially going to be the case here across portions of the Snake Plain and Arco Desert, maybe some of that extending a little bit into the Caribou Highlands, and you can see some higher wind gusts at the upper slopes and ridge lines here as well as you get into the mountains up at the northern edges of our forecast area. So this will be with us. We're not expecting these values to get to wind advisory criteria. However, we are expecting them to get high enough for a lake wind advisory for American Falls Reservoir. So our system lights up the whole lower Snake Plain here, but this lake wind advisory from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. today is for American Falls Reservoir. Those winds are going to create some pretty rough wave conditions there on the water. So if anyone is going to be out boating or recreating on the reservoir today, just be aware of this. Choppy conditions, some strong winds, and some high waves are possible as those winds come through. Again, we'll see a few showers possible with that, although most places will stay dry, and I'll show you a loop of that in just a moment. First, high temperatures on Friday, a little bit cooler, about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than what we're going to be seeing today, and that's because there'll be a little bit of a cool front coming through with today's system as well. Other than that, though, nothing impactful across the region on Friday. It's going to be generally a dry, fairly pleasant day once again before we really dive into our bigger system starting on Saturday. So let's switch gears here, and let me bring another screen here into the briefing for you. This is one of many computer models that we look at. So this is not an official forecast. Don't pay too much attention to specifically what shower is over what city at any given time. What I do want you to do is look at the general big picture, look at the trends, look at the flavor that this model is giving us in terms of precipitation. And we're going to use this to kind of walk through what we're expecting here for the next several days. So as we start out at noon today, dry across the region. As I head towards 6 p.m., excuse me, we're a little early here. Here we go. 6 p.m., you can see some of those showers starting to approach northern portions of our area, places up towards Stanley, Chalice, Salmon, West Yellowstone. Really light, isolated activity. And as we go through the evening and into the early part of the night, you can see that zone of possible shower activity sinking off to the south. Might see a lingering shower or two by 6 a.m. tomorrow down toward the Bear Lake area. Other than that, we're done. So not expecting heavy precipitation amounts out of this, nothing terribly widespread, just a chance of a shower here or there. And I think the best chance of that will really be from about Fremont County and Monida Pass down through the highlands here along the Wyoming border zone. I think east of I-15, I think that's the area that has the best chance at a few of those showers with this system. As we step through Friday, predominantly dry across the region with those slightly cooler temperatures, and then here comes our big event. So as we get to 6 a.m. Saturday morning, you can see an area of more widespread precipitation breaking out here across the southern highlands, south of Pocatello, into Bear Lake and up into Caribou County. As I step forward to 9 a.m. and noon, that area expands. So we see pretty widespread precipitation right up into the Teton Valley, the Island Park area, the Upper Snake Highlands, really east of I-15 and then down south of Pocatello is the zone that will be targeted with the most persistent and heaviest activity during the day on Saturday. But you can see there's a flavor in the model here for some shower activity elsewhere as well. So I think everyone is going to have a chance at some hit and miss shower activity throughout the day on Saturday, even with the heaviest and most widespread activity off to the east here. As we continue into Saturday afternoon, very similar conditions continuing, but by the time we get to 9 p.m. and then midnight, Saturday night into early Sunday morning, signal for more widespread activity across the region. A lot of this in the form of rain, but mixing with snow as we get into higher elevations. We'll talk about that in a moment. And some of this more widespread shower and precipitation activity will continue overnight into Sunday morning as well. So that's an early look at the general flavor of what we're expecting as this storm moves in. When all is said and done, we've created our first set of maps this morning, trying to get a handle on total precipitation amounts and snowfall amounts. This graphic is for Saturday and Sunday, so it's the first 2 days of that 4-day period for this storm system, but I also think these first 2 days are really going to bear the brunt of the total precipitation. I think probably 75% of our precipitation is going to fall during the Saturday-Sunday time frame. So you can see here we're expecting still 1 inch to 1.5 inches from the Island Park area, portions of Fremont County, down east of I-15 through the Teton Valley, Pine Creek Pass, Caribou Highlands, Bear Lake area, south of Pocatello, Malad. A few spots even approaching 2 inches of total precipitation during this period, and then generally a 1/4 to 1/2 inch across the rest of the region. I think for the major cities here, from Rexburg, Idaho Falls to Blackfoot to Pocatello, be closer to 1/2 inch or just over, and then the greater chances of 1 inch or more will be to the east of the interstate corridor there. Again, some of that is going to fall as snow, so let's take a very first preliminary look again at Saturday and Sunday, the first half of this event, but again, I think this is going to be most of the precipitation. And low confidence. Okay, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of variables that are going to affect this. Our exact temperature profiles, how low do those snow levels drop, even what time of day these waves of precipitation are coming through. Right now, expecting several inches to fall over the central mountains, and that may include Stanley as well as all of the mountain passes. A few of the peaks and ridge lines picking up a little bit more, closer to 5 or 6 inches. Nothing in terms of accumulation currently expected down low. So from Arco up to Du Bois, over to Rexburg, and then down through all of our interstate cities, and then down to places like Malad and Preston. Generally, little to no accumulation expected at this time for Saturday and Sunday. Interestingly, you can see precipitation amounts, or I should say snowfall totals, are looking pretty low right now to the east. The reason for that, we're expecting colder air and lower snow levels to move in quite quickly on Saturday in the central mountains, but we're expecting those temperatures and snow levels to remain warm or on the high side for most of the day off in the east here. So even though this is the corridor, we're expecting the most precipitation total from south of Pocatello, east of I-15. We're going to take a lot of that and we're going to dump it as rain before temperatures are really going to support a lot of snow mixing in. So right now, not expecting major accumulations, but again, confidence is low. There's a lot that could change over the next day or two with this, depending on the exact temperature profile. I do think all of our mountain passes, including here in the east, still have the potential to see accumulating snowfall and some roadway impacts, with that chance really low as you get into the valleys. I will throw out there again, too, particularly you saw the projections for overnight into Sunday morning. We'll look at temperatures in a minute. If we can get precipitation going at the lower elevations, including here in the Snake Plain during those colder overnight periods, better chance of mixing some wet snow even down to valley floors. So that will be with us as well. Let's step through temperatures. Saturday morning, here's the precipitation again is breaking out across the south and east, but look at these temperatures. We're still up into the 30s to low 40s. Saturday morning, so predominantly rainfall. You can see colder temperatures here in the central mountains. Highs on Saturday during the afternoon getting up into the upper 40s to mid 50s across the region, so predominantly rain outside of our higher peaks and ridge lines by Saturday afternoon. Sunday morning, cooling trend continues, okay? Low temperatures getting down very close to freezing everywhere, below freezing here in the central mountains. So overnight into Sunday morning will be our first shot to see a little bit more widespread snow mixing in with some of this precipitation, and again, more as you go up in elevation. High temperatures by Sunday afternoon, not even expected to hit 50 degrees across the region, only topping out in the 40s, even in the lower elevations of the Snake Plain, and even colder by Monday Monday morning. Temperatures solidly in the 20s across all of southeast Idaho. And again, if we have active precipitation going on overnight, Sunday night into Monday morning, another shot to see snow mixing in just about everywhere, and some of that possibly making it down to valley floors. Stay tuned. We'll have a lot more details on this in the days ahead as this event approaches, and we'll continue to bring you the latest information. I'll mention here, too, this is going to be a solid hard freeze for just about everyone across southeast Idaho. For some of you, that may be Sunday morning. For the rest of you, Monday morning is going to wrap that up. We're expecting this to end the growing season across the region. Very likely that we'll need to issue some freeze watches or other products here in the next day or two as this approaches as well, just for the cold temperatures. That's it for your briefing this morning. If you have any questions for us, as usual, please reach out and have a great day.